Hey yo, welcome back to the Shatter podcast, episode 15. I am Sean, and I wholeheartedly want to thank you for being here. You know what today is. This is Casual Friday, where it's just me, the mic, and you beautiful people who honor me with your time and attention. It's also worth noting, since this is episode 15, this is officially making it the most episodes ever of me being on a podcast. The 490 podcast went for 14 episodes, so I've already beat my previous number. So it's a milestone for me. Also, that being said, I feel it would be in my best interest, as well as the podcast in its entirety, for this episode to be our season finale. I thought about it a lot. It wasn't an easy decision, but I feel it's the right one. I talked about it a few weeks back, about the idea of breaking it off into seasons, and I just feel with everything going on that it would be best to do that. I don't want to end up having to miss a week, then picking up the following week, and then to go for 3 more episodes, and then end it that way. That's even if I could go a week without another hiccup. I feel like that would be a sloppy tail end of a season. So, I think this is best, and after talking to some close people of mine who were a huge driving force for me with Shatter and Breathe, excuse me, it really is the right choice. So after this episode, we'll be taking a break for a bit. Considering the circumstances, I'm thinking mid-June, possibly for season 2. It's way too soon to say officially, so that is pending, but I'm not hoping to be gone too long. However, I also don't want to rush anything either. So that's the current goal, and we'll see how it goes. I apologize for anyone it may not be the best decision right now. I do appreciate my loyal listeners, anybody who listens to me at all, but especially you that come back every week. But it also upsets me whenever you're expecting it one week and then it isn't there. Even though I do try to make it known beforehand. It's just, I just feel this is the right call right now, and by mid-June, if that is when we come back, then everything should be post treatments and things like that. So hopefully, as long as all things go well, that'll be more of a come down period, more of a recovery period. Speaking of which, not a whole lot to update on the folks right now. However, we did get reassuring news. So it is a lot, but at the same time, there was one big reassurance. There wasn't a bunch of many different things happening. So the good news is that me and my mom went to my oncologist, well, our oncologist, and thankfully, she's only going to have to do 3 treatments of chemo. So that's great news. Because, anybody who's seen or has felt chemo knows how hard that can be on you. How hard it can be on the body. So thankfully, only 3 treatments are going to be necessary amongst her 35 treatments of radiation. And we got told by our oncologist that her PET scan came back good. There was nothing glowing anywhere. It hasn't shown any spread, thank God. So it's right where it's at, where they know. It's what they've already acknowledged and identified as cancer. That's there, but it has not spread anywhere else. So thank God it's right there, and they can focus on that and getting it eradicated. Because, like the radiologist said, as long as it didn't spread and there were no surprises, it is highly curable. So that is the main objective now, is they know where it's at, that's the only place it's at, and they're going to get rid of it. So that was very reassuring. It helped me and my mom both breathe a lot easier. When we told my sister, helped her breathe a lot easier. So now it's just a matter of getting it started, getting her schedule, so that we can just kick it into motion in terms of the treatment itself. So the oncologist and the radiologist can get on the same page and work together and get that schedule figured out, so we can get it started. Because the sooner we get it started now, the sooner we can get her over the treatments, so she can start to recover and heal. So on that note, like I said, we got a lot of relieving news. My dad, his recovery is doing, all things considered, when you think of stroke, he is doing very well. Like, honestly, it's amazing to see. Because, when it all happened, we're all fearing the worst, severe limitation, severe speech, interference, hardships, but he's talking great. I mean, he does slur once in a while, but besides that, he's talking great. He's moving a lot better. He's able to do a little more at a time on his own, even though we do spot him, and we do still, like, certain things we'll still help him with and be there for and all that stuff, but certain, like, little things, like, baby steps, little things here and there, he's starting to actually do a little more comfortably, sometimes even on his own. So it goes with what I said last week, where we don't know how long it's going to take him. These things you don't know until you get to that end point. However, I stand by what I said last week, and I feel like he is going to surpass what he thinks he's going to be able to do. I get that from him. We seem to put a cap on ourselves too soon or too low, and we will exceed our own expectation. And we're stubborn. So I feel like he's going to exceed what he believes he'll be able to do in terms of his recovery and getting his strength back. But through exercises and mindset, that is the key to getting him better. So he is doing a lot better. Still a long way to go, but he's getting there, and that's what matters. It's like somebody said before, it doesn't matter how many times you get put down. You're never beaten until you give up. And that man was Scott Hall, who unfortunately this week passed away. You know I'm a wrestling fan, and Scott Hall is in my top 3. It's it's Undertaker, top of my list. He's my favorite of all time. Then there's AJ Styles, and then there's Scott Hall. I did adjust my list about a few months back, maybe even a year back. He was 4th, but I bumped him up to 3rd because I'm weird with lists. Sometimes, sometimes things just make more sense to me. But he's one of my favorites of all time. I think he was, even though he was so popular and so over, I believe he was still massively underrated for what he could do. He never won a World Heavyweight Championship in a major promotion. But he could have won so many with how good he was. And there was a lot of Hogan fans, but I was always more of a Scott Hall guy. Always. Like, the only time I was ever a big Hogan fan was when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the NWO. But even still, I was always a Scott Hall guy. So when I seen that he passed away because of his complications, he had hip surgery from a fall, then he had 3 heart attacks in one night, followed by being put on life support. And then the next day, if it wasn't the day after, they decided to take him off life support with his family around him, and he passed away that night. But when I found out about him being on life support, so many different feelings, because obviously I was upset and hurting because this is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and besides wrestling, he was just an amazing guy. I mean, he kept it real with you, but when he respected you, and he was a big giver with a lot of different things and a lot of different people, and he appreciated strength, both personality and physically. Because there's a clip from him on Jerry Springer a long time ago with 2 kids who were fighting a tough battle of their own, and it's just a really good video to watch if you haven't seen it yet. But easily the best wrestler to not win a world championship, hands down, and one of the most amazing people on this planet. Who there will never be another Scott Hall. Now, after he passed away, and I had the time to process things, I was really just looking over how it affected me, and I mean, I'll be honest, I cried a lot from it. Yeah, it wasn't like an all-day thing, but there was a moment where I just finally couldn't take it, and I just cried for a little bit. And I'm wondering, because I know I'm going through a lot right now with my folks, and that's nothing compared to what they're going through right now. They're the ones going through it, and I know right now, watching them go through it, that it's been hard on me too. So I'm dealing with my own situation as far as that goes. So I'm just thinking, maybe because of everything going on right now, I'm just so highly elevated in my emotions and my mental state, and just having a hard time with things. Other things that happen outside of your own stresses and hardships will just add to the weight. So, I'm just trying to dissect why it hit me so hard. But at the end of the day, even if this was a normal time period where my parents are healthy, it still would have really bothered me, because that's just how much I held him to a human being. He was just a great guy, a great wrestler, and it hurts knowing that he's no longer on this planet. But on the flip side, the reason why I said there was mixed emotion was because there was a time when he was almost so lost to his demons that it wouldn't have been a surprise to people if they seen he passed away. Like, I can't think of exactly when this time period was, but let's say 10 years ago. He was in a place where it was almost like people weren't saying it, but they were waiting to see it. You know what I mean? They were waiting to see Scott Hall passes away because he was just in such a bad state. And thankfully to DDP, he got back to himself. DDP really saved Scott's life because he got him so turned around. And Scott saved his own life too, because he was willing to do it. So it was one of the best bounce backs I've seen, especially in wrestling. So whenever he passed away, a lot of the thought was the fact that 10 years ago this wouldn't have been as surprising, even though it still would have been hurtful to hear. The fact he was still blessed with all this extra time compared to what people thought he had left is amazing. You gotta put things into perspective like that to really get through them. Because if you don't, you're really gonna rack your brain trying to figure out why things happen how they do. It's like with me and having dealt with cancer twice, you will go crazy if you spend too much time thinking how can an 8-year-old get cancer? Why would an 8-year-old get cancer? You know what I mean? You can spend days racking your brains and not get an answer, because an 8-year-old doesn't deserve cancer. No kid deserves cancer. No person deserves cancer. You won't find an answer sometimes. However, I can't help but think that, well, one, I do believe what we go through makes us, and if I hadn't gone through some things I went through, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And despite some flaws, despite some things I hate about myself, I am happy with who I am. I feel like I'm a good person. And if I hadn't gone through cancer, honestly thinking about it, I went through it more severe when I was 8, because I did go through the radiation and chemotherapy. A lot of chemo. And I went through that long haul of it. And then 2 years ago, I went through cancer in modern life, in modern times. And those combined things have aided me into being able to be here for my mom and walk her through this. It's allowed me to have a sense of familiarity with cancer and getting through it. And the appointments, the doctors, the treatments, I can at least be able to show her and tell her and ease her into this and help her get her through it. Because I can't help but think, if this was a complete blindside in terms of how to deal with it, I wouldn't be able to comfort her like I do. And whenever she says things like, she's so glad that we're here for her, and she's so glad that I'm at her appointments with her, because I will help explain things and I will help clear things up for her. Things like that, you couldn't. If you told me that we could go back in time and get rid of the cancer and I would never had to gone through it, if you could have told me we can go back in time but no cancer whatsoever for you, but nothing else changes, if that would mean that my mom would have to go through this alone in terms of what to expect and what to feel and how to feel, and expressing how to better vent those feelings. If it meant that she would have to go through this a little more alone, I wouldn't even entertain the idea. Because, no, I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve cancer when I was 8. I didn't deserve it the second time. But I'll be damned if I let it hinder me and not enhance me. So the fact that I can be there for my mom right now, in that capacity, with that experience, makes it worth it for me. You know, like, yeah, it helped mold me, it helped make me who I was. But if nothing else, if it helped me help her right now, it was worth it. One day she thanked me for going to an appointment with her. She thanked me for going, and I told her, I said, I trained my whole life for this, Mom. I trained my whole life for this. I'm not going nowhere. I got you. If we let what happens to us hold us down, then we're losing in even one battle. You've got to take what has happened to you. You got to take what you've gone through and use it to not only your own benefit but others. Help make you a better person because of it. That's what I've done. I've tried to use everything I've gone through, every bad thing that's happened to me, every bad thing I've done to other people, mistakes I've made. I try to use everything that I do or have done as a roadmap to better my journey. And I think that's what everyone should do, because a lot of people will bleed their hardships on others, and you're just making a bigger mess instead of healing it and healing others. So just some words to the wise. Some food for thought. I've been, to try to get away a bit mentally, I've been putting my head in Elden Ring a good bit lately. I picked Prophet as my starting class, and I really regret it because statistically, that is not a good place to start. I picked Prophet though because I wanted something that I thought would be cool and I could resonate with, with the whole faith thing. But in a game, that was not a wise decision. But it's alright though. I got my stats pretty good right now. I just been grinding that game, and it's been helping a lot with taking my mind off things. I'm still alert, I'm still aware. I don't let it completely remove me from reality, but it does help me. It does provide a good distraction once in a while. So I do highly recommend Elden Ring for anyone who hasn't got it or is on the fence of getting it. I will say I'm very mad that they nerfed the Ice Rind Axe, or the Ice Rind Hatchet. It was such an OP weapon, and they nerfed it, and I'm so mad right now because that was a bunch of grinding for nothing. But it is still really good, thankfully. They nerfed my Knight and Flame sword. They nerfed the Mimic. They just don't want you having fun. Sometimes I think they just don't want you enjoying something a little too much. But in all honesty, there were some reasonable reasons for why they did nerf things. Although if it don't affect PvP, I don't know why they should touch anything. But between that, my friend Dom actually got me that for my birthday. That was just on the 12th, for those who don't know. So he actually picked me that up for my birthday, and which is funny, he picked it up for me, and we all have it, me, Dom, and Matt. we all have Elden Ring, and the plan was to play together. And now me and Matt still play, but Dom deleted it because he doesn't like the multiplayer. Which, in all fairness, the multiplayer on Elden Ring is horrible. I hate saying it, but it's true. It is not good. Not in terms of how that big of a game should have multiplayer. You should be able to play with your friends. Just play the game, but it's so limited. They make it so irritating to play with others. So I hope they improve it eventually, because that game is too fun and too nice to have such a limited multiplayer mode. But also, I did not break the tradition of buying the yearly wrestling game, the WWE game. Even though I was hesitant, right now, financially, probably shouldn't have bought it. But if I wouldn't have, I'd have been constantly being like, well, I want to get my hands on it, I want to see it for myself. Well, long story short, I bought it, and I've been playing that too. Which I'm not planning on turning this into a review episode, because I'm sure a lot of you probably don't even care about video games. But this is just what's going on in my life right now. Good game. A lot better than 2K20, which was a dumpster fire for anyone that's played it. An absolute dumpster fire, but 2K22 is an improvement. It is not great. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It is nowhere near what it should be for as long as 2K has had the title. And to keep this a more positive episode, I'm not going to get into a deep dive on this game, because it will turn negative very fast. However, some things I will say are great about it, because there are things I enjoy. It looks amazing. The entrances are like almost trailer-worthy cinematic. You know how you'll see video game trailers, then you play the game, and it's completely different. Well, the entrances are what you see on TV in the trailer. They are beautifully done. The models, for the most part, look amazing. The new control system, hit or miss. That pun wasn't intended, but it's sometimes I like it and sometimes I hate it, because they took away the ability to just Irish whip easily. You gotta grapple first, then Irish whip, and it just takes you out of the immersion. And it just a poor decision on their part. But once you get the control system down, it's really fun. You really kind of mold into it, which is good. And like I said, the game looks great. It absolutely looks amazing. Just, it's not the level where it should have been after 2.5 years of time, because they didn't release in 2020 or 21, so they had a lot of development time, and for the time they had, I feel like they missed the marker. But like I said, a lot of people are enjoying the game, and I'm glad they're enjoying the game. But I'm not going to ignore the faults when they had so much time. And they've had the title for 8+ years. They started it with 2K14. And they officially took over in 2K15. And anyone who plays these games know what 2K15 was. And so I'm just going to leave it there. But it is a good game. It is fun. It does look amazing. So if you're thinking about buying it, I'd recommend it. However, if you can wait, I'd wait for when it goes on sale. But still, it is something that is helping me kind of get my mind off things for a little bit. The new My Rise, though created superstars look horrible, the My Rise itself is pretty fun. I will say that. It is a pretty good mode. If you're big in creating superstars, you're not going to enjoy this. But Exhibition's fun. My Rise is fun. thankfully, Community Creations finally, after all these years, is cross-platform. The fact that it took them so long for that baffles me. They're still limiting you a lot on what you can do, what you can use. I'm not a big fan of any dev team trying to control how their players play. You're supposed to make a game for players to enjoy themselves, not enjoy them how you want. The 2K dev team for WWE games is basically kicking wing from Joe Dirt, who's only giving you snakes and sparklers when he should be giving you the full menu of fireworks. You know what I mean? So, not a fan of the dev team. But, like I said, it is a fun game where it's fun. So, it's something to get my mind off things. It helps me get back into playing wrestling games, which I haven't even really touched 2K20 in probably 2 years. So it is nice getting back into playing a wrestling game. Hoping that AEW's game does well, but we'll see how that goes when we get to it. Also, while I'm thinking about it, though there won't be any new episodes until about mid-June, hopefully I hope it's gonna be around mid-June. I hope it ain't. I don't gotta push it into July. I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see how things are when that time comes. But even though there won't be any new episodes of the podcast until then, that's not to say I'm not gonna put out any content. I'm going to try and make it so that there is a way to connect, a way to kind of put out something, whether it be like a live talk. If I stream on YouTube or stream on Twitch, and just kind of talk. You know what I mean? Just kind of converse. I'd like to do that. I don't want this to be the last time you hear me, like hear my voice, for a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. Sorry, time. Like I said, my head's all over the place, but I don't want this to be the last time you hear my voice until then. So, I am thinking about kind of things like that, to where I am still putting something out. If maybe not every week, but something. So, I strongly ask and just ask you guys to please follow the Facebook to stay up to date with everything, because that's where you're going to hear about it. I'm going to try to do better with Twitter and even Instagram. I'm going to try to do better with those, but Facebook is just the most advanced way to keep informed. You can put more on Facebook, you can link more on Facebook without the limitations and the restrictions of characters, you know what I mean? So Facebook is just easier for me. Because there's just so much more you can put out for information. So I do ask, if you are somebody who is here every week listening, if you miss an episode, you come back and listen to it. If you're one of the people and you're not already on Facebook on the Facebook page, I strongly recommend you doing it, just so you don't miss anything and just so you do know what's happening. And also, I'm always trying to think of new designs to make, so I will be posting more designs in the time. How many? I don't know. It's one of those things where when I have something come to me, I will try to manifest it and I'll put it out. So I do got a few things in mind in terms of new designs coming out. So definitely be on the look for that if you're looking to buy something, like some clothing or something like that with something meaningful on it. Also, I mentioned a few weeks back an idea I had for new items, and I haven't really ironed out all of the details with it, but I am looking into putting out posters and stickers with my designs on it. The posters is a real big deal because it's going to be not every design I have, but I'm going to pick some of the more, they're all important to me, but some of the more like that stick out, and I'm going to be expanding them onto a poster for people to buy. A friend of mine, Jess, she said that she loves posters and she has friends who collect posters and love them. And so she gave me the idea to really invest time into getting posters made with my designs on them. And my friend Courtney, who is one of the driving forces of this podcast because she is such a motivation for me, she mentioned stickers. And so that made me really want to dive into getting stickers made. So, if you don't want to dish out money for a hoodie or a shirt or something like that, posters and stickers should be decently cheaper. So I'm like always, I'm going to try to make it affordable and not ridiculous, but not undersell either. I have a hard time putting a price on anything of mine. I have a hard time valuing myself. And that's both mental and general. I have a horrible time valuing myself. I don't want to overvalue myself and be like, that's a ridiculous price. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to be losing money on a shirt. You know what I mean? So, but definitely be on the lookout for that. Designs for clothing and posters and stickers once those two things launch. But the shop, as always, is up now and available to check out. I think I'm close to 40 designs now, if I haven't hit 40 yet. So I think there's something on there for everybody. If you're looking for some new drip and looking to get something with some meaning on it. Also, today as I'm recording this Thursday, so you're listening to me from yesterday. Happy, by the time you hear this, happy belated St. Patrick's Day. I hope everyone had a safe holiday. I'm Irish on my mom's side. My great-grandpap on my mom's side came off the boat from Ireland. And my great-grandpap on my dad's side came off the boat from Italy, so family reunions are amazing food-wise, and people-wise too. I don't want to put the way I said that. Some people might think, "Well, the food's good, maybe the people aren't." No, food and people-wise, the reunions are amazing. But so I do have a healthy chunk of Irish in me, but I really don't celebrate it that much. However, the Shamrock Shakes are worth it. They make the holiday even better for me. But I know some people really go all out for St. Patrick's Day, so I hope every one of you that did had a safe one. Enjoyed yourselves, got time with friends, family, found a pot of gold, I don't know. If you did, great. Buy a hoodie, But I hope everyone enjoyed their day. And I hope everyone enjoys their weekend coming up. No, since this is the season finale, I would like to recap with how it's gone, how the podcast has been for me. And well, first and foremost, I am so glad I'm doing it. I'm so glad I have it. Because though I don't have a big audience, I don't have, when things go out every week, I don't have, 10 to 50 to 100 and beyond reactions, I don't have big numbers. However, I know for a fact that this podcast does make a difference for people. The people that do listen. I know for a fact that it means something to people. I love when people tell me that, and they give me feedback and they tell me what this does for them, because that's what motivates me. Because if I went off strictly reactions in terms of like loves and cares and likes and shares and things like that, I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know anybody watched it. But thankfully, for those of you who do tell me about it, who do show me that you enjoy it or that it means something to you, that bumps me up to want to do it more. Which is why I fully intend on coming back strong. Because I already got ideas mapped out for episodes. And I'm going to hope to have, by then, a better recording system to be able to produce better. But I am beyond satisfied with these 15 episodes. Because I go back to whenever I was just thinking about doing it. I put it off and put it off because I just wasn't sure if people would care. I wasn't sure if anybody would listen. People can tell you things. Like I said in the one episode, there's like 15 people who told me that they would listen that don't even like my page. So people can tell you one thing, and then that's where it ends. So that was always in the back of my mind. What if I put out these episodes and no one cares? No one listens. No one even acknowledges it. But you can't mold your plans, mold your pursuits off the people that don't care. You gotta mold them off. Firstly, there's always going to be one person that cares about what you do, and that's you. So don't sell yourself short, because if you care about it, it's worth doing. I just want to make that point real quick. If you care about it, it's worth doing. But also, it's the people, not just you, but other people who it means something for, who care about it. That's who you do it for too. Because there's people out there, I can say for a fact, that appreciate my podcast, and I appreciate them, whether they've told me or not. If we've never spoke, if I don't know you personally, and this podcast is important to you, and you appreciate it, I appreciate you. Because, I'm not going to hear from everybody who listens to this. Some people just do not, they just won't contact me. They won't like the page for whatever reason, that's okay. My point is, I'm not going to know every person that listens to this podcast. But what I can say with certainty, and genuinely mean it, is if you're listening right now, if you've ever listened, I appreciate you. Because, you can always earn money. You can always earn things, objects. But you cannot get time back. The way we spend our time is what matters. And if you spend it listening to me, whether we know each other or not, whether we've ever spoke a word or not, whether you've ever interacted on Facebook or not, I appreciate you. I truly appreciate you. And I'm glad you're here. It's going to be weird. it's going to be weird not having episodes for a couple months. And who knows, it could come back sooner. I'm not going to promise. I'm not going to try to get expectations up for it coming sooner. I'm thinking right now, mid-June is probably the ideal time. But like I said, I'm going to be trying to possibly put out other stuff, content-wise. It won't be weekly by any means, but it might be just live once in a while. That'd be a great way to communicate with people. Get new listeners, get current listeners. As long as the times line up and work out right, I think that would be great. avenue to try to go into, and it would keep me from being just radio silent for 3 months. So I am thinking about things like that. I am going to try to stay active on the page, even if it's not podcasts, even if it's not designing all the time. I want to try to be more active on there, just to at least keep the interaction, at least keep reminding you this ain't closing up shop. This is just a 3-month lunch break. Yeah, it's still very much staying, and it's going to come back strong. I was really hoping to do 20 episodes before I capped it off, but just I don't have to explain it. You guys all know what's going on because I've talked about it enough. So all things considered, I couldn't go 20 and give you guys the quality that you deserve. So I'm going to come back strong with the episodes that I had planned already for the next few weeks. Improve them if I can. I'm not going to just take what I have now and keep it. I'm going to improve my episodes as the time goes. I don't just finish an episode and keep it there and then use it. I will always touch up on episodes if I think of something that I could say better or think of a better example. So everything is still going to be very current when I come back. It isn't all going to be predated type stuff. I'm going to be very present when I come back, but I'm hoping to shoot for 20 episodes season 2 and kind of keep that standard. We just got to see where life takes us. We just got to see how it treats us and what the situation is like when that comes. But I still have a good feeling that things are going to work out well. Things are going to be good. And that we'll get back on track. I have a lot of plans, goals, ideas to come, and I feel like they will happen. So half the battle is mindset. If you think it's not going to work out, if you think that you're just failing, that there's no point, that why even try when blah blah blah, when you have that attitude, when you have that mindset, you've already lost. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not gonna try, and if you don't try, you're not gonna get anywhere. And I want you to get somewhere. I want you to get where you want to go. I want you to live the life that you want to live. And you can't do that until you believe in yourself. I also look forward to finally being able to do guest episodes. I already got 4 ideas for them. And whenever they actually come to fruition, oh my god, I can't even say that word. Fruition, then I think it's going to be just amazing. So, because you get someone that isn't just me. You get outside opinions or feelings or words or discussions. It's a lot better than just hearing me every week. So I really, really look forward to those. And once I have the proper setup for something like that, I intend on getting that out as soon as I possibly can. And even the four I have in mind already just excites me, because I think they're going to be really good episodes for a lot of people. And hopefully that leads me up to more. Obviously I think it'd be cool to have recurring guests once in a while. Because my first guest episode is going to be Courtney, hands down. And I think it would be criminally negligent if I didn't have her on a few times, because she's just an awesome person, awesome perspective, and just an open mind. Just a great type of person to have on here, who I think you guys would also love hearing from. So I really look forward to that. And like the whole point of this podcast is, self-realization, analyzing mental health, things like that. And what better way to really be able to exercise that than bouncing it off somebody else who also is open-minded and likes to analyze themselves. I just think it's super healthy, and it'll be just super inclusive and expansive, and I just really cannot wait to get started on that. Also, very minor, but still enough to acknowledge it, I need to work my thumbnail game up, because it's just points of the video on YouTube. I gotta really upgrade that one. I don't know why I was so laxed on that, but it's season 1. This was the trial and error season. But don't be surprised if it's a little bit more error in season 2 still. We're ironing it out. We're getting there. I'll tell you what, this episode is a lot better than episode 1. I will tell you that. I think so anyway. Maybe not content-wise, only because it was more on topic, but in terms of being comfortable with doing it, in terms of obviously audio value, I mean, I don't got the best audio right now, but miles ahead of episode 1 and 2. But, finding our groove. I got my groove. I found it to an extent. And I think it's just, I think I'm in a happy place right now with the podcast. I am happy with the fact that it is so young still. I am happy with how it performed for these 15 episodes. I feel like it's just going to increase. I feel like there's going to be more people that find it. More people that I find. I just have a lot of hope for it, and I feel like it is going to be something very special to a lot more people too. And that's just healthy for everybody. The more people it reaches that need it, then that means the more people it can reach outside of that. And I just want to find this podcast in the hearts of a lot of people who are needing something like this podcast in their life. I'm not a life changer, but if I can enhance it even for a couple minutes, or even the full hour, or however long, that's something I'd be proud to do for anybody who really needs that piece of peace or relatability, or just listening to me talk about something I'm having a hard time with, and maybe you've went through that before and are already past that, and you can think, I remember when I was like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not above anybody. I'm getting through this just like you guys are. Even if the problem's different, even if the situation's different, we're all just getting through something. And if right now your life's in a place where everything is kind of going good right now, I am happy for you. Cherish that. Don't expect the other shoe to drop. Don't be living in a state of things are good right now, so what's gonna happen? Don't please don't ruin your own ability to enjoy peace. And just enjoy it. Just enjoy the peace while you can. Please just enjoy it while it's there. Sometimes it's easy to think, this and this is going pretty well, so what about that? It's easy to think, because a lot of times that kind of is how it goes. But not always. Don't hinder today worrying about tomorrow. And don't disrupt your peace worrying about what the next stage is going to be, what the next issue is going to be. Because all you're doing is, like, when you worry about tomorrow, today, all you're doing is ruining both days. Compared to, enjoying the day you're in now. And you're just setting yourself up to, even if you wouldn't have naturally disliked tomorrow, you're setting yourself up to dislike tomorrow. So try to really just enjoy your peace. And don't waste it waiting for the peace to break. You owe it to yourself to be able to fully embrace the positivity, if you've spent days or weeks watering the soil, you deserve the flowers that grow from it. So don't stomp on them. Water them. Don't stomp on them. Enjoy their beauty for what they are. And don't just wait around for the next storm. You owe it to yourself. Alright, well, I think that is good for today, this week. I would like to talk about more, but I don't want to just talk about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just keep talking without there being a solid foundation of what I'm talking about. So I've pretty much gone over everything I think I should. Unless I'm missing something, which I hope I'm not, but I think it's a good time to cap this one off. I genuinely want to thank every single one of you who are still here. Every single one of you who have been here every week or for a couple weeks. If you jumped in halfway through. Anybody who's here and has been here for a little while, I truly appreciate you. Anybody who's listening to this for the first time, I appreciate you for giving me a chance. And I hope if you enjoyed it, if you kind of got an idea of what this podcast is about, I hope you go back and check out the other episodes, which are, I will tell you, a lot more structured than this one. Casual Friday is pretty much me giving you guys my draft before I edit it, because this is severely raw. There's one point where I had to edit, and that was only because of, I think, dead space. So this is pretty much just my draft copy here, but the other episodes have a lot more structure to them. So if you enjoyed this episode, I really think you'll enjoy the other one, so please for sure check that out. I'll say it once again, if you haven't already, please go and follow and like the Facebook page to make sure you're up to date with everything. You can find that on the link tree, as well as everything else with the podcast. Where you can listen to it, where you can follow it, a link to the store, to the shop. If you want to go browse it and see if there's anything that sticks out to you that you'd like to have rocking on some clothing, you are free to donate to the Cash App if you're so inclined. It is not expected or what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not expected or required or insinuated. However, if you feel like donating to me towards the podcast, towards whatever, you're more than welcome to. But you're not inclined to. It is there though if you would like to. But just most importantly, be easy on yourself. There's times when we need to push ourselves, motivate ourselves, but then there's times where you really just got to take it easy. Don't overwork yourself. Don't overstress yourself. Respect yourself. Love yourself. And when something's going on, whether it's good or bad, Take the time to really analyze it. Take the time to really, when it's good, embrace it. When it's bad, work through it. Because once you're able to really identify your feelings, identify your reactions, you will see life get a lot more clear. You will find a lot of clarity once you get out of your own fog. So I certainly hope to see you guys back here around June. If that is when we come back, I will know, well, we all will know officially when it gets closer to that time. But definitely follow the Facebook just so you can keep up to date, or just keep checking back. But I don't want you to keep checking back here for months and never see any updates. So definitely try to stay updated with everything, and it's there. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, a wonderful few months. I thank you with all my heart for being here, for giving me your time, for giving me your attention. I truly, truly thank you. And I love you guys so much. And I cannot wait to be back and giving you episodes again. Coming back for a whole new season. Hopefully 20 episodes this time. 20 episodes strong. At least. I'm not going to say we're definitely going to cap it off, but I'm hoping we can at least go to 20 next time. And until then, I'm just going to be thinking and considering and brainstorming ways to improve it. Ways to make it better. And I feel like that's going to happen. But until then, I hope you all have a very blessed few months. I hope you all stay in good health, both physical and mental. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is as wonderful as you are. This is the Shatter and Breathe podcast. I am Sean. And as always, stay safe, be thankful, and God bless every single one of you.